to the Muskegon channel. It's Andy O'Reilly, and today I am in the office of Shane Brown. He is one of those big, important county boys here in Muskegon. Actually, Shane's a great friend and a longtime supporter of everything we do here. And Sarah De La Rosa is here, is with the Muskegon ALI Program. This is one of those shows that's going to kind of serve as a warning and a little bit of a reminder for some of the stuff that goes on here in Muskegon. Sarah, let's start with you. Remind everybody about ALI and what it's all about.
Okay, so Muskegon Alcohol Liability Initiative, ALI, is a coalition through the Mercy Health Project, and we work at reducing alcohol use for our young folks in Muskegon County, underage drinking, trying to prevent kids from harming themselves and messing up their futures through alcohol. So it's kind of our whole goal, and we work, we're a whole coalition of groups. We have lots of law enforcement officials,
Sure.
and we have community providers and a whole group of people that work together to try to prevent and educate as to why alcohol is not something you want to be messing with at this time.
You know, and for me, anytime. I mean, I started really young. I was 12
Right.
when I first started to use alcohol as a way to get to sleep. And it became a life crutch for me, and it took me till I was 33 to realize that it took over my life. It owned every aspect of everything I did, and it really became a huge problem. And you know, I think, you know, with hindsight being 20/20 and a little bit about my family history and all that kind of stuff, I was predisposed to a lot of that.
Right.
But I think too that at a young age like that, you don't really understand what you're getting into, and you start to build that crutch for yourself, and that's your easy way out. I was talking to a couple of the guys here at the office too about some recent accidents. Some 17-year-old kids that have, you know, rolled their cars and they're still blowing high numbers in the morning and all that. These are 17-year-old kids.
And just to let you know, if you're going to blow a high number, most people vomit at like a 0.14.
Yeah.
These kids aren't vomiting in a 0.25.
Wow.
I mean, you really got to be practiced in order to get that high.
Yeah, and they're doing it at
Yeah.
these younger ages.
And the younger someone starts using alcohol, statistically, the more likely they are to develop an addiction, and the stronger that addiction may be, as you can attest to.
Yeah.
I mean, being that young and starting to mess around with alcohol, it really puts you on a path of not so great things, and that's what we're trying to prevent.
Yeah, and it's you know, not so great things, not 100% lost cause,
Nope.
because there's always a chance that you can have a great change in life, and
Yeah.
things can really get to the other side of it, and I like to consider myself a little bit of living proof of that.
Definitely.
But it certainly makes things difficult as you're growing and trying to learn how to process and work problems as a young adult and all that kind of, because you've got that immediate crutch right there, and it's a quick fallback, and you just don't learn how to develop properly.
Right.
Right.
And these kids today, is it like when we were young? I mean, we're about the same age. I got to figure. You got that uncle that'll go out and get booze for you. You got that store that'll sell it for you. Is it still the same kind of thing?
I think we've been pretty successful over the years, and we've driven those numbers down. I think society has changed some of the views on this.
Yeah.
We've created some things that we didn't see before coming, where kids will now drink at home where they used to not do that.
So parents will let this go on.
Yes.
Really?
And that creates a problem that we haven't dealt with before. But I think we've educated a lot of kids. We're actually finding that our efforts to show them what's happening has been successful. That's why we continue to do this, because we're seeing success with this.
Yeah.
We're driving numbers down 10, 15% from what they were 10 years ago. So we know it's successful. We can save a lot of kids from a whole lot of pain and a whole lot of misery. And even if you don't hurt anybody, let's just say that you get arrested for drunk driving, you're talking $7,000.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Just to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
So we're saving them money. If they don't have any value for anything else, they have value for what's in their pocket.
And something to think about too. I don't know many kids are going to come up with $7,000.
Right.
So mom and dad, that's something to think about right there. Is that it's going to get pretty expensive pretty quick. And you know, all the years that I spent doing the wrong thing, I should have been caught any given night of the week, and I didn't. I got caught once, and it was $750, and it's 10 times that now, if not more, which is unbelievable.
Right. By the time you rack up the Secretary of State fees and the fines and costs and the cost of an attorney, and any counseling that you have to go through for court order, and oversight fees with probation, Yes, you're talking
really
thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars. So it's good to grab them young. It's good to teach them that this is a good thing to avoid, and hopefully that it never becomes an issue for them. But there is always that other side of the coin too, that it's going to start in April here. You guys are going to be out looking for some of the problem spots.
Well, I'm not.
Not you. You've got some people on the other hand.
We do, yes we do.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about is it a sting?
No, it's a decoy operation.
Okay.
What it is. And a decoy is simply somebody who's underage. We do nothing to change their appearance. They use their ID. There's nothing altered. Our decoys are instructed that if they're asked how old they are, they're to be honest.
Yep.
If they don't ask and they just have to show their ID, then that's all they do. We don't do anything to try and trick anybody. These are actual. This is what they look like every day.
Yeah.
And they're going to come into your stores, and we want the retailers to recognize that. We want their employees to recognize that. And this we have found is number one. The retailers don't want to sell to you if you're underage. They want to abide by the law.
Right.
And what we do is by doing this, it keeps them on their toes. We have found tremendous success with this.
Yeah.
And it keeps it on the forefront of their minds.
Yeah.
And the clerks are checking IDs, and the owners of the mom and pop shops are checking IDs, and we're able to keep the alcohol out of these kids' hands.
Yeah.
What's really cool about our initiative is this is not a gotcha. We're not trying to trick people. In fact, prior to the decoy operation even happening, our officers will go into the stores and they will present the store with a packet of information that specifically says, this is what you need to look out for. I mean, we have signage that we give them. We tell them how to check for IDs, how to know, what to look for if you need to, if you have questions, concerns, where can you get more information? So we present them with a lot of information prior to the operation even happening, just because we want them to really be educated and make educated decisions. And in turn, the decoy operation does take place, and we have great success in getting people to check IDs properly, and we're really proud of that.
Are there problem stores that pop up over and over again, or is it it's not intentional? Is it more of a haphazard thing? Oh, I just didn't think to check. What do you usually find?
I think we have some repeat violations. It doesn't take more than a couple before the Liquor Control Commission starts giving out some pretty hefty fines and suspensions. And usually that'll turn it around. If we can't turn it around before then, the Liquor Control Commission will eventually turn it around, because they can be pretty stern with them. But what I'm seeing a lot of is people not trusting the technology that they have available. You have a clerk that'll run that license right through the scanner, and it'll tell them they're under 21, and they'll think something's wrong with it. For a retailer, I can tell you right now, listen to your technology. If it says they're under 21, don't sell to them.
Don't sell to them.
We've had people that don't have the technology, and they're just having a little difficulty with the math, which is where these packets come in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sign right on there that says if their birthday was before this date, that's the one you're looking for. So,
and I don't know about you, but every time I look at that date, it's like,
crazy,
oh my
right?
God, really?
yeah.
I was out of school for 10 years by the time that day came along, and it's like, oh, I can't be this old, really?
Yeah, they get younger and younger, we get older and older.
Oh my God, it's just terrible.
So,
this is going on all through April. Is that the case, or does it have a window of opportunity, or are we going to keep that one under wraps, or how does it work?
No, we run these all year round.
Okay.
The April part is a good reminder. We're going to be out fairly quickly now that these retail packets are out.
Sure.
But we will check, and we'll check places multiple times.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So keep your mind your P's and Q's.
We just want to make sure before prom season really kicks off that our kids are being safe and they're getting home to their families at night, and they're not able to access alcohol that may be harmful to them, especially when they're driving or being uneducated as to what they're doing. That's really why we hit it this time of year, but again, they do this all throughout the year.
Sure.
So.
Today's day and age, kid gets an MIP. What are they looking at?
First offense, new law in Michigan, is a civil infraction. You get multiple offenses, and the penalties go up from there.
What are we talking fine-wise?
I'd have to look it up.
I think back in it was about $80 when we were, and that was steep enough back then.
I think there might be up to 500 now.
Is it really?
Yeah, so I think the new law just came into effect, so it's not at the forefront of our mind. Whereas before, MIP was a misdemeanor offense. Now now it's a civil infraction, which is a fine that you pay, because we really don't want the youth to be penalized, late on into their life for something they did
Sure.
when they were young. But we definitely want there to be some kind of education as to why you shouldn't be doing it. So
Absolutely.
that's where officers come in and they issue these infractions. I think it's between 100 and 150 for a first time offense, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, we'll have to look into that. I'll see what I can
Yeah.
find as we get ready to write it up.
Yeah.
Retailers, be on the lookout. Kids, please don't make the same mistakes I did when I was young. I don't want to see you guys go through what I had to get to, where I am today, which is a hell of a lot better than it was back before I got sobered up. Sarah, Shane, thank you guys so much. Retailers, the packets are out. They're going to be making those spot checks. Make sure you're careful about who you're selling to. And kids, don't drink and drive. We care about you, and we want to make sure that you've
Yes.
got, yes, see, she even said so right
Yes.
there. Brown in the middle here, he didn't get into this business for the big paychecks and the glory of the hours and all that stuff, did you?
Right. No more nights, weekends, holidays, split shifts. Nobody really signs up for that knowing what you're getting into.
Not at all. The ALI program here in Muskegon, all the details are linked up right here on the Muskegon channel.